How did you go from fintech to tea?
Tea has always been a hobby of mine, and as with a lot of Hong Kong people as well, right? We drink cha san tang, milk tea every day, and then it's also like the perfect dim sum companion. We actually interacted with it every day, but what are the stories behind? And what are the different types of teas apart from just tea kunyam and pole, right? For that reason, I kind of started going into, tea houses, exploring plantations and taking professional courses. And before I know it, I've been steeped in tea for over a decade. Throughout the process as well, I really fell in love with sort of the diversity of it. Sort of it has so many different flavors. You can find things like tofu flavors, kind of like chicken soup kind of texture, savory. There are florals, there are wood, there are spices and minerals, and just a whole host of things that you don't usually associate with tea, but you'll find it there. And explored Chinese history, calligraphy, porcelain, and I feel like as much as I'm exploring tea, I'm also exploring the world. For that reason, maybe some other people would be interested as well. And so that's kind of why I started, I decided, or I had the thought of starting my own brand. And at that time, as you know, I was in fintech, and it wasn't the easiest decision. It was quite tormenting. Asian parents as well. They stem from kindness, obviously, and endearment, that they, it's stability, you have a high-paying job, and it's of a good prospect as well. Why would you sort of give that up and jump into something that's completely unknown? So I did the logical choice, which is to not tell them at all.
So how long did you keep that a secret?
I think a proper year or two, actually.
I totally get it, because my parents, they didn't support my business at all, but they tried to help us out other ways. Asian parents expect us to be finance, lawyers.
Yes.
What else? Doctors.
Don't date during high school and uni, but then once you graduate, get married immediately.
No, it's so true. It's crazy. And that's why so many of us have to start business in secrecy, right?
Yes.
And it's not like we're doing something bad, it's not like we're dealing drugs or something. We're just trying to follow. You're doing tea, I'm doing jewelry, and then it's like we're doing something terrible. I love, love, love matcha. I drink it every day. So can you tell me the history of matcha?
Matcha actually stems from China. So during Sung Dynasty, there was a practice of tea making called dian cha, din cha. And it's essentially whisking tea powder with water into a brew of tea. And that's kind of where it stemmed from.
Approximately how long ago was that?
So that was around about 1,000 years ago, 960 AD. Yeah.
I thought matcha, from what I knew, was from Japan. So how did that happen if it's from the Song Dynasty?
So matcha, these two words, actually just means powdered tea. Back in China, the tea drinking habits has also evolved. What we now know as Chinese tea is often, whole leaves, and then we just pour water in and we steep it, right? But actually, this only became mainstream since the Ming Dynasty. In Tang and Sung Dynasty, we actually also drink powdered tea. The Sung Dynasty dian cha ceremony, what actually happens is we take the powdered tea, we'll pour hot water into it, and we'll use a whisk, we whisk it up as well. So it's effectively the same kind of process that the matcha ceremony now takes, but it has adopted and sort of localized and became its own thing.
Oh, okay.
Sung Dynasty is actually a very interesting period of China. It is actually one of the most prosperous and one of the fanciest dynasty of all. And it's also considered kind of the pinnacle of Chinese arts development and culture. It is one of the dynasties that's actually ruled by literates. And as we all know, literates are, very artistic, very expressive. And so they adore and adopt all forms of arts and hobbies. And so they call this nga si.
Which means what in English? Like elegant
things to do. Okay. Yeah. So for them, like a whole host of arts and hobbies, and they practice that. And they don't only preach that these hobbies are practiced within, the high courts or high society. They also preach that everyone, down to the peasants and commoners, and also in Buddhist monks, to also practice all forms of arts. Because to them, it's not just about feeling good, or it's not only about sort of showcasing themselves. It's also about a practice for themselves, for their inner selves.
So Mary, can you tell me some tea-related health tips?
Tea is actually categorized into 6 categories, and it's based on how it's produced, the characteristics, and the chronology it was developed. And so all these 6 categories, because it has different production methods, it causes tea to have different thermal properties. So in traditional Chinese medicine, as with all foods, they have different thermal properties and characteristics, right? Some food are more cooling, some food are more warming. And the same applies to tea. So from the lowest oxidized tea, which is green tea, all the way through till the most oxidized tea, which would be black tea and dark tea. So here you've got the most cooling tea, and then all the way kind of this gets a bit more mellow, and then here you get the most warming tea.
So what would be the best tea to drink in the morning, and what would be the best tea to drink at night?
Morning, yes, I would recommend going for a lightly brewed green tea, white tea, or yellow tea, or if you've stayed up the night, a lightly brewed black tea with a little bit of honey to flush out the toxins in your liver. At night, however, go for a very simple pu'er tea, especially a sok pole, or a darkly roasted or an aged oolong tea. Those would be low in caffeine and helps you get to sleep.
Are you concerned about the caffeine? Like some people say they can't drink tea at night. How would that work?
Tea is actually very interesting. It's very bipolar. It has caffeine in it that helps you stay awake. It also has amino acid and a specific one called L-theanine, which helps you get better night's sleep. And so, so how you choose that, it really depends. And this also goes back to the quality of the tea.
Always hear about how tea has anti-cancer properties. What do you think about that?
It most definitely does. And for that, I'd recommend green tea and white tea because it's very high in antioxidants and it fights free radicals. In general, sort of all teas have a little bit of that content anyway. So how I see it is just drink more tea every day. Whatever floats your boat.
I actually have one more question about tea. Do you wash your tea before you drink it? I'm not sure what I should do.
The general rule of thumb is that for green tea, white tea, and yellow tea and black tea, we will drink it. But then for oolong and dark tea, we don't. So the reason behind is because these 4 types of tea, the production process is relatively simpler. And we also want to appreciate a lot more of its umami and freshness. So we do drink the first brew. However, for these 2 teas, they go through a lot more vigorous production process. It may have gone through roasting, it may have gone through fermenting. And so there will be a lot of compounds that kind of lingers on top of the leaves.
Tell me about your favorite piece of jewelry and what gemstone best represent you.
I don't actually have like a favorite that I use. It changes with scenario as well. Like back then when I was in banking and Fintech, I really enjoy statement earrings. It's like a bit more bold and colors. But as I've transitioned, I actually like simpler items. Maybe just like a stud or like a simple pearl.
What about gemstone?
Yeah. I don't actually know too much about gemstones, but I really like one that's called tourmaline because I was going through quite a lot at one point. And a friend of mine actually has a crystals shop. And I was visiting her when we were talking about all that sort of emotional stuff. And then she gifted me a tourmaline for your protection. I really enjoy and really cherish that piece.
So do you still wear that piece?
I do.
For your protection? It makes you feel good.
Yes.
Sure. Mary, thank you so much. I learned so much about tea from you.
Thank you so much for having me today and at your beautiful space.
Thank you.
Thank you.